Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is episode number 73. I'm just going to jump straight into the third quarter. Fuck everything else. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the first quarter and the second quarter. I'll tell you what. Let's just jump right into the third quarter. Because what I saw tonight was magnificent. Yeah, I haven't even said that word in years. Especially concerning the Knicks. That defense, they had Toronto scrambling in the third quarter. It was just really beautiful to watch. The kind of defense that, or put it like this, the kind of defensive potential you see this team has. And again, what made them play so well is team defense. Players knowing exactly where they need to be and rotating and playing together. Folks, this is a team. KP did not have a good game. And I'm going to tell you, though, there's two things I want to say about KP. One thing is that he needs to stop forcing the action. And Hornacek needs to get him more pick and pops because he's not really strong enough sometimes. Players are getting up in him, getting up in his chest so he can't make moves and stuff like that. And his handle's not tight enough. But he just needs to not force it. And another thing I want to see, well, actually, it's going to be three things. So number two, I want to see from Kristaps is, dude, you are the franchise player, but you can lead the team. Your scoring isn't working. Grab 15 rebounds. Block some shots. Be a decoy. Now, one thing I want to say, though, is the rest of the Knicks play well on offense, but that had a lot to do with Porzingis. Now, because he gets all the attention. So just because Porzingis didn't shoot well doesn't mean he doesn't draw the most of the attention of the defense, which allows Hardaway to do what he did tonight. Had a fantastic night. Fantastic. Can you say 72 million? Anyway, he had a fantastic night. And the truth is, you can't double Hardaway when you got Porzingis there. And if Hardaway's going to play well, that's going to make the Knicks even better. And what's going to happen if Hardaway, right now, teams are still going to load up on Porzingis. They're still going to try to, They're still going to try to double team Porzingis and stop him. They're going to focus on him, right? If Hardaway continues to play well, defenses are going to have to adjust to Hardaway, which is going to free up opportunities for Porzingis. And that's what a good team does. That's what a good team has. And that creates opportunities for everybody else. When they get out in transition, the Knicks are a totally different team. But I just want to say, whatever Hornacek said to them at halftime, he needs to bottle that shit up. He needs to bottle that shit up. And he needs to say that shit at the beginning of every game. Literally. Until they don't hear it anymore. Because whatever he said to them, whatever plan they did, they just came out, 28-0 run. Do you understand? 28-0 run. If I was playing 2K and the game went on a 28-0 run, I'd be like, come on, this is fucking cheese. The Knicks cheese, that's what I'm going to start saying. They cheesed Toronto in the third quarter. They cheesed them. They was cheesing them. Bumping into them, making them drop the ball and throw it out of bounds. And shit was crazy. I was really, really, really impressed. I'm really happy with this kind of victory because, again, it's the kind of victory that can be duplicated. It's the kind of victory that you can build upon. You see, it's weird, but it's a weird thing, but you really can't build upon offense. Like, if a team shoots 33-pointers and, or shoots 75% from three and blows out a team, you can't really build on that because that's hot shooting. And shooting is basically a 50-50 proposition, sometimes a 40-60 proposition, meaning you miss most of your shots. But defense is a constant. I'm not one of them people that say defenses win championships, because you still got to score to win games. And that's why I hate when people say that. But defense is the constant that allows you to have more offensive opportunities. See, I never hear nobody say that. The whole purpose of having a great defense is not just stopping the other team, but giving your team more offensive opportunities, more shots, more possessions. That's what good defense does. In any sport, in anything, gives you more opportunities. Well, not in any sport, probably not in baseball, but I'm just saying, it gives you more opportunities. And when you play good defense, and then you run, it gets you in transition. It just does everything. You can build your team around that. You know, and I like the fact that Knicks have offensive players and defensive players. And you know what? Let me tell you something. We don't get a lot of steals, but we have players like Lance Thomas, smart defensive player. Courtney Lee plays much better in open court. That contract's looking good right now. Courtney Lee's playing well. And guess what, folks? The Knicks are 3 games over 500 early in the season. After starting 0-3, I might add, starting 0-3, they're 3 games over 500. They're 10-7. And also, too, I'll pat myself on the back about this one. I don't know if it's going to fully come to fruition this season, but when the Knicks traded Melo, I said, I actually wanted Melo to stay. But when the Knicks traded Melo, what I was thinking was, this might be a Rudy Gay situation. When Rudy Gay was on Toronto and they traded Rudy Gay, that team just exploded and became a really good team, the good team that they are today. And they are a good team. It's like sometimes I think that players are too respectful of stars. Not a guy like Kobe. Kobe didn't give a fuck. Fuck you, Shaq. Fuck everybody. They didn't like Kobe was rubbing people the wrong way, because Kobe came in like, I'm just gonna bust that ass. I don't give a fuck. But a lot of young NBA players are very respectful to the vets. They're very respectful to the veteran players. So they don't come in game. I think that Porzingis, we wouldn't have seen this Porzingis had Melo stayed. And it's not Melo's fault completely. I used to see the same thing with Patrick Ewing. When the Knicks had Patrick Ewing, every time we'd have players, they'd be too respectful of Patrick Ewing. And they wouldn't shoot the ball hardly. There's, Patrick Ewing is hogging the shots. He wasn't hogging the shots. Teammates were not really going for theirs. Until they got John Starks, who basically didn't care. He's like, look, I'm going to go for mine. And it made the team better, even though he wasn't scoring. I think the Knicks' best team that they had, and they messed up, is when they had Xavier McDaniel. During the season, he averaged 13. But once the playoffs came, he was balling out. Ewing finally had his partner. I think he averaged 18 in the playoffs that year. I think we took the Bulls to 7 games, and we wasn't even expected to win 1 game. It was a good, and actually he completely intimidated Scottie Pippen. And he was going for his. And sometimes, that's how you got to play. That's how you become a team. Everybody has their role. But when you have players that are afraid to shoot or afraid to play their game, afraid to call for the ball because the star players there, it hurts the entire team. Porzingis is an unselfish player. He doesn't mind other players getting theirs, and he's going to get his. And that makes the team better. That makes the team better. So this was a great victory, a great revenge victory, too. That's another thing I'm happy about. One thing I'm noticing about this team, and it's a mark of a good team, by the way, and a mark of a good culture, is that after losses, I'm sorry if I was coming in low. I realized I was holding the phone down low. After losses, the Knicks have bounced back pretty well. We lost to Toronto. We got stomped by Toronto. We came out and beat them tonight. Really. It looked like in the third quarter they came out like, okay. What they did in the third quarter, they did what really good teams do. They buckled down, they got serious, and bust that ass. Straight up. And that was impressive. Being that, if you really think about it, they made that big run while Kristaps wasn't hot. Even though, hey, again, when you have a team, see, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you look in basketball history, the best teams in history usually don't have the same guy who leads the team in scoring every night. They'll have the same maybe group of guys that lead the team in scoring, but some night it could be, like, for example, it could be Kristaps one night. One night it could be Hardaway. One night it might be Cancer. That's when you know you have a really, really good team. Knicks are not there yet, but that's when you know you have a really good team, when one guy doesn't have to carry the load, or one guy, the main guy, can have a bad game or have an off night, and the Knicks still do their thing. And that's what defense can do for you. But again, with KP, I just feel like I don't think he's in any kind of slump. I think he's been forcing a lot of shots. I don't think he's strong enough to do some of the things he's doing as far as in the post against stronger players. And I think that as the season goes on, I'm hoping, like he said, he needs to keep his weight up, because the league has adjusted, folks. The league realized, like, he's not as strong, or at least he's not as strong as he was as the season started off. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I think the Knicks, I mean, look, on one hand, I don't mind him fighting through and trying to figure things out. I don't mind him doing that. I don't mind him forcing a little bit just to figure out some things. That's okay. I don't mind that. But just understand, while he's doing that, that's why he's not having great shooting nights, because he's trying to figure out, how can I push through? How can I adjust to the league's adjustment of me? That's what Kristaps is doing at this point. So I don't think he's slumping or anything like that. The league is playing him differently. He's trying to adjust to that. So that's why he's forcing things. That's why he might have a turnover here and there. He might have a couple of shots that's not that good. He's trying to adjust to the defense again. So I know I said pick and pop, which would alleviate and allow him to get loose and score more points and come off screens and stuff like that. However, what will make him the great player that I think he will become is literally playing through and adjusting to the NBA's adjustment. Because once you adjust to the NBA's adjustment of you, once he adjusts to what the NBA does, they're going to adjust again, and then it gets to a point where you're just unstoppable. We clearly see that Kristaps isn't completely unstoppable yet. But once he adjusts again, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you know, okay, it's going to be 25 to 30 points a game. And I do believe in Kristaps' career, I think maybe even by next year, but definitely in 2 years, he's going to average 30 before it's said and done. He's going to average. I believe that Kristaps is going to hit a steady average of 28 to 30 points a game at his apex, and maybe over 30 points a game at his apex. I believe that's coming, and dominate. I believe he will be on that level eventually. The next thing he has to work on is his strength and being able to sustain that throughout the entire season. But you know what? Hardaway is 25. Hardaway is entering his prime. Hardaway is doing things that I really like. He's going to the rim. When he's hitting first of all, when Hardaway's hitting the three-point shot, he's literally completely unstoppable. And it really sounds funny saying this. It sounds funny talking about Hardaway in that way. Like, when he goes to the rim, I mean, when he hits that three, he's completely unstoppable. But the truth is, they build him as a shooter, but his best thing is going to the rim. And as long as he penetrates like that and goes to the rim and scores that way and gets to the free throw line and opens it up, because what happens is, he's a bad shot shooter from three sometimes. But if you continue to penetrate through the paint, that three-point shot gets open. And I know when his shot is going in half the time. When he steps into a three, he's a better shooter. And I think part of his problem is shot selection. Look at DeMar DeRozan. He's developing a three. You know you can't. DeMar DeRozan's nice going to the rim. You know you can't stop him. But teams sag off, and now he's starting to hit that three. And if he starts to hit that three, he's already a star. He starts hitting that three, he's taking his game to the next level. I think the thing that's making Hardaway play well these last few games is going to the rack. He's really athletic, folks. He's good in the break. If you really break it down, right? If you break down Hardaway's game, if he hits like say threes a game, gets about 2 threes a game, that's 6 points. Right? Scores about, I don't know, another 6 points in transition, that's 12 points. Gets to the free throw line, maybe, or gets, let's say, I ain't gonna say get to the free throw line. Let's say he gets up, let's say he scores 6 points at the 3-point line. That's already 18 points. That's 18 points right there. Two 3-pointers, 6 points in transition, 6 free throws. That's 18 points, folks. I didn't even mention like half court shot. I'm sorry, not half court. What's the word I'm looking for? Mid-range shots within the half court offense. Maybe he scores a little 4 there. That's 22 points. You see how easy that is? But it all opens up if he's going to the rack. It's possible that he could do that. He has that athleticism, and he's a legitimate 6'6", folks. He's a legitimate 6'6". Yep, Hardaway's a big boy, and he's really athletic. So maybe this is it. Maybe his time has come. And I'm impressed. After the slow start, he's been on fire. He's been really playing well. So, hey, what can I say? The Knicks, again, when you have a front office, you have to take a shot at being great. When you're a front office, you have to try to find those diamonds in the rough. You have to try to strike. I'm missing the phrase that I always say for some reason. I can't remember it. But you have to take a chance on a player and know that at 25, this guy is entering his prime. Maybe he's going to turn it out to be really, really good. Or maybe not. The Knicks spent $72 million hoping that he would end up being very, very good. And so far, so good, folks. So far, so good. And I'm not overstating this because he's been doing this the last few games. So far, so good, folks. Tim Hardaway out here balling. Love it or hate it, he out here balling, folks. Don't let nobody tell you nothing else. And watch the pundits and all of these people. Remember, what's the name? Caldwell Pope. He got $18 million this year. He's playing okay. Porter signed a $100 million contract. He's playing okay too. Hardaway signed a $72 million contract, and he's balling. And in this game, he kept us in the game in the first half. Since I already talked about the third quarter, I'll talk about the first half slightly, just a little bit, because this podcast is coming to an end. But he kept us afloat in the first half. He kept scoring. He was the one that was unstoppable. And you know, when I look at Hardaway do this, I'm like, it's just weird just watching this boy blossom right here in front of your eyes, folks. Enjoy this victory. This is a good one. I don't know. I think we got Houston in our next game. I'm not really sure because I don't think we can beat Houston. I think it's just the worst matchup ever. If we beat Houston, then that's serious growth. Because Houston is just the offensive juggernaut, and it's really, they shoot up so many threes, and it's the worst part of the Knicks defense. So, with that being said, it's been a good night, folks. It's been a good night. Enjoy these victories. Enjoy the growth of this team. It's fun. It's fun. Don't think ahead. Don't think ahead. Don't think in the past. Don't think about old regimes. Don't compare to nothing. Fuck all that shit. Just enjoy this victory. It was a very good victory. Wake up tomorrow, smell the aroma of the good food, and enjoy your Thanksgiving with a fucking smile. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. This has been Knicks Home Court. I'm up here stuttering, right? This has been Knicks Home Court, episode number 73. I'm your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. Everybody take care. Peace.